Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 7 of the F1 2000 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the French Grand Prix at Le Castellet. Of course, if you missed that in the last video that went live from Montreal, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. I can't believe we're almost halfway through this season already. I guess it's very, very different doing a 16 race championship over the 24 races that we've become used to inside F1 24. Taking a look at the Drivers' Championship though, we currently have a 3-point lead over Pedro Della Rosa, who has a 3-point lead over Jacques Villeneuve as well. Things are really tightening up at the top of the table there. Jacques Villeneuve just ahead of his teammate Alex Wurz, and Michael Schumacher slowly but surely trying to stage a comeback as well. I mean, McLaren, they're having an absolute disaster of a season, all the way down in P9 and P10. But yes, we return though this weekend to Le Castellet. As I mentioned in Montreal, we've got a lot of high-speed circuits coming up, pretty much between now and Japan. Every single circuit probably isn't going to suit our car too well, so we'll have to wait and see as to how we get on. But of course, if you're new, make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs on the channel. But yeah, let's do this thing. Well, here we are then. It's time for qualifying in Le Castellet, and I must admit, it is looking very, very overcast. Bit like Montreal, though. I'm not expecting this one to be a particularly memorable one-lot outing for us. However, if free practice times are anything to go by, McLaren, they might well and truly be back this weekend, and, well, on a circuit that as often you'd think on paper would suit them quite nicely with all the straights. Yeah, I don't think it could come soon enough. McLaren, of course, have usually been the threat to Ferrari in this series. Williams seem to have come back a big way this year, but maybe it's not too late for McLaren to try and start springing a surprise as well. They're a bit lucky in the fact, you know, BAR, Williams, and Ferrari have all kind of taken points away from each other so far this season. But yeah, this weekend, I'm not expecting BAR to take many points at all. Once again, of course, we had our worst result of the year last time out in Montreal. We ended up finishing P8. Admittedly, we should have been in P6, but I did bottle it later on in the day in typical Mat 2-2 fashion. As you can see, Schumacher making his way through Scene Corner, of course, still yet to take a win this year is Michael. The championship hangover has been real for the German, but yeah, as always, we've got to try and capitalise through Sector 1 and Sector 3 here. I must admit, I do miss Le Castellet. It was a good fun driver's track inside these games as well, as we try and navigate our way down in towards the final couple of corners. Just keep it clean and tidy. The car does feel pretty agile around this venue as well. Try to avoid that inside curve through the final corner, get that throttle down, and then power up towards the line. Schumacher's going to storm to pole position. For us, it is only P9. Well, to the surprise of probably no one, Ferrari, yeah, on a track that is mostly dominated by straight lines, absolutely cooking there in qualifying in the end. I mean, McLaren 4th and 6th, maybe I hyped them up just a little bit too much here before we head into the GP. But we found ourselves sandwiched between the Jordan cars there, which is a little bit of a shame for us. I guess, yeah, all we can hope for is that we can go forward in the GP. I mean, we were over a second behind our teammate Johnny Herbert. But yeah, Arrows, Salo, I think, yeah, his miracle run at the start of the year is going to start to crumble around these more power-dominated circuits. But let's see what we can do.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking 2 wheels today, we're talking 4, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Well, I think all we can really hope for between now and kind of Suzuka this season is that we just keep trying to pick up as many points as we can, maybe rely on a little bit of issues for Pedro Della Rosa and Jacques Villeneuve as well there, and just pray by the time we get to Brazil that we are still in the title fight. I'm going to overfuel the car quite aggressively today because we know we will get through those, you know, that extra fuel based on how many straights there are around this venue. But yeah, consistency and reliability has often been our strong point inside this series. So long may that continue, and maybe, just maybe, we can get that world title. It is 5 red lights. And it is lights out and away we go here in La Castellet. You can see a couple of poor starts there. Hakkinen and Frentzen not getting off the line particularly well. So we might actually be able to make up a spot by the time we get down in towards someone. They're going to aggressively cut in front of the Jordans. Down at that first corner is Coulthard, Hakkinen, and our teammate Johnny Herbert 3 wide there. Ferrari absolutely waltzing away off the start of this one. As Jacques Villeneuve, once again, like we saw in Montreal, will try and remain in hot pursuit there as well. I wanted to have a look down the inside of Jacques Villeneuve. Sorry, not Jacques Villeneuve, his teammate Alex Wurz even. But not quite able to make that one work there as, yeah, Herbert losing a couple of places. Had a really good qualifying effort to get between those McLarens. But as we head into the race, though, this is where we're going to really struggle today. And I mean, look at that. Our former Jordan car absolutely trying to fly past me down in towards the chicane in the middle of the Mistral Straight. We just about hook it up there, back around the outside, though, on the exit. And yeah, we are going to have to use those rich revs here and there around this venue. We've learned a few good fuel-saving techniques in this car. But ultimately, yeah, these V10s, they were thirsty back in the day. Hence why, obviously, refueling was obviously a thing as well there. And, of course, obviously got scrapped with the V8s ready for 2010 as well. But fairly calm opening lap then. We've gained 1 spot. I think our battle today, though, is likely going to be with Wurz, Herbert, and maybe the McLarens. We just cannot seem to shake off Frentzen and Schumacher here. Maybe running a bit too much downforce around this venue. How many times have I said that? Top speed in the car actually seems pretty competitive. You can see every time that Jordan does have to brake a whole lot earlier up into the chicane there, but it's costing us time every single lap. So we've got yellow flags out. Someone fallen to the wayside? Yes, one of the Minardis. Oh, sorry, I actually meant one of the Arrows cars here. And as you can see, as they make their way down the back straight, he's 3 wide with both the Saubers. What on earth has happened? You just see him fly through the shot in the very next camera angle. I mean, let's have a look from his teammate's perspective then. Almost wanted to make it 4 wide down the back straight. And you can just see moves completely across there. So I don't know how that Saubers survived that one, but yeah, I think that's Mika Salo gone then. Safety car has been deployed. Well, tyre wear we know is pretty good on this BAR car as well, and I want a little bit less downforce on it as well. So we're actually going to dive into the pit lane at the end of lap 2 here under this safety car. Make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy. Looks like Hakkinen as well has had the same idea, so we might try and take a set of tyres to the end of the afternoon there. Looks like De La Rosa as well has done that. So maybe Ferrari now, you know, giving their number 2 driver what was, you know, perceived as their number 2 driver preferential treatment. As we will, I mean, we're going to re-emerge right at the rear of the field. So, yeah, De La Rosa, Hakkinen and I are going to have our work cut out. But this might be the better strategy towards the end of the race if these tyres will last.
Finish the race on this compound.
There you go, team know the assignment, so they clearly do believe it is possible. Well, safety car coming in then at the end of lap 4, so it hasn't been a long period behind it, but yeah, we need to try and go uber aggressive off this restart. If we can get ahead of De La Rosa as we're trying to navigate our way through some of the slower traffic, then that would be really, really useful. However, I think the straight line speed of that Ferrari is probably still going to carry it here, as just trying to eye up where we can go for a move on Mika Hakkinen out of that final corner. Green flags waving once again. So let's go racing once more there. As immediately you can see Pedro going to fly past Nick Heifeld back down towards someone. So yeah, instantly able to put a couple of cars between himself and, well, World Championship leader, of course. We still are the world title leader. As that Hakkinen as well is going to try and move past the Minardi. So there's going to be moves coming in absolutely everywhere here over the next couple of laps. I guess that's the joy of there being such a pace differential between our car and some of the back markers. Of course, we used to be in one of those cars. Well, admittedly, it wasn't the Minardi, but it was the Arrows.
Let's get into mix 3 ASAP.
And let's see if we can actually make a move there. There we go. Straight passing Heifeld down the back straight, but we have got Frentzen waiting in the wings as well. I can't even see where he is. I think he must be tucked up behind us. As, I mean, yeah, look at that. I mean, Pedro De La Rosa is just making moves everywhere at the moment. He's already way up the order. Getting through quite a few bits of traffic there as well. Switch underneath Jensen Button down the second part of the Mistral Straight. And there we go. We made a couple of spots up nice and early, but plenty more to try and make. I mean, look at this. Hakkinen as well, just getting slowed up by Jarno Trulli and Mika Salo through the final couple of corners. So it must be the other Arrows driver then that's out of this race. As you can see, Hakkinen now immediately will cut to the outside of the bright orange car. I love that. I love that Arrow so much. It's so cool there. So Hakkinen immediately locks up. Almost runs into the side of his fellow Finn. Whoa! What is that? Hakkinen, huge moment as we just about avoided contact there. I've got no idea how, but we will capitalise with an aggressive move down the inside of the McLaren man into the very next corner. And again, you're so scared about the damage model. And even with the slipstream, though, we can't do anything against Mika Hakkinen. Here is Salo's going to try and defend from him. Can we have a look down the inside of one Finn again? Oh, Salo tried to cover me off there right at the last moment. He's actually done a really good defensive manoeuvre. We will again just squeeze around the outside, though, on the exit of the corner. But yeah, De La Rosa's gone. Hakkinen, we do have a chance against. Oh, here we go. Jarno Trulli trying to defend from Hakkinen again.
7.0 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's good news then. Johnny Herbert only 7 seconds up the road. As you can see, Trulli there just gets a little bit caught up behind Mika on the exit. Hakkinen has not figured out how to do turn 1 in that car. But then again, we've seen all season long just how much of a handful that McLaren is. Both drivers really struggling to extract much pace out of it at all. Yeah, out to the back straight again we'll go, though. Are we going to be closer to get a run on Damon Hill? I mean, for us, it is all about where the AI get held up. If they can get held up through that final sector, then we've got a good shot at it. Because I think actually that Sauber slightly quicker than us in a straight line. Is Hakkinen there just about able to cover off from Damon Hill. Of course, these two battled for wins a few years ago. But yeah, not anymore. Damon Hill, of course, by this time IRL had already retired from Formula 1, but he's still kicking around in this alternate universe. Hopefully he's going to be kicking around in P13 as we've just got that little bit more downforce down the inside. Hakkinen trying to make the same move on Fisichella up in front. Oh, you just see that Hakkinen, he has to give him the room. Fisichella's not willing to back out of this one, and that does me a lot of favours. Not when I drive like that, though. Oh, where's Fisichella going? Big mistake there by Giancarlo. Just dive it down the inside of the final corner. Let the traction control keep it pointing in the right directions. There we go. Coulthard and Schumacher into the pit lane then. So we're back up inside the top 10 and into the points here. But, I mean, Schumacher's probably going to get back to me by the end of the afternoon. So we've got yellows out. Someone else maybe with issues. I think it's Giancarlo. I think he's carried on going there as Coulthard again, another big manoeuvre down the inside of Jan Magnussen. Really has been a shame to see Jaguar not up to the same pace that we saw from Stewart last season, as they could have definitely sprung some surprises here, but yeah, Jan's still trying to defend out onto the back straight. Not really able to do anything that time. Is he going to be able to get a run, though, with the slipstream? No, I think he's just slowly dropping away from Hakkinen here, but these have been some really, really dramatic laps in this Grand Prix. Exactly what you want, where there are some split strategies at play. We try and get the power down on the exit as well, though, on the Jaguar driver. I think we will. We'll get to the inside of him, and we should move up then into P8. Yeah, Jan Magnussen not interested in defending that one. Well, what's going on here? Rubens Barrichello, Mika Hakkinen, these two certainly have gone wheel to wheel once or twice in Formula 1.
We need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
I tell you what, Mika Hakkinen must think his car is much, much stronger than anybody else's here, because he is defending so aggressively and being so erratic at the wheel of that McLaren. We will go round him before we get out onto the back straight there. As yeah, we're following Rubens. Jos Verstappen actually having a pretty good race out so far. A little bit further up. Of course, he's not Alex Wurz. I do apologise for the double Wurz still in this series, but there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it, as Hakkinen again will try and force his way to the inside there. We won't allow him to make the move happen, and we'll actually just trim the exit curve as well. But yeah, Barrichello, we've got to try and get round him before we make our way in towards the final sector, because we could, potentially create a little bit of a gap there. Clearly Rubens struggling for confidence in that Jag. as we'll try and still have a look to the inside there. That got really nip and tuck. Well, we haven't seen much from Jos Verstappen this season, not that I'm really complaining. Of course, back with Benetton for the first time since the mid-1990s, of course, when he was teammates with Michael Schumacher on his way to his first world title. Are we going to be able to get a run on him again? And just see the top-end speed of this car really is compromising us. Luckily, the ability to brake late into the corners, though, certainly isn't. Kalin around the outside will go. We'll leave him to battle with Hakkinen behind. Try and build up a little bit of a buffer there, as De La Rosa is already near enough 10 seconds clear of me after the safety car restart. We've already got eyes on Johnny Herbert, though, and he hasn't even pit yet. Oh, no, that's not good. Michael Schumacher, he's already on the relative behind again, or we know roughly where he is. I don't think it's going to be long before that second Ferrari car moves back past us. I also don't think it's going to be long before Hakkinen flies past me. Well, I'm not going to try and claim that I can see the future, but I think this move right now was quite predictable once I got past Hakkinen, in the first place. I mean, look at that, yeah. The McLaren driver there. I mean, he hasn't actually got that much extra top-end speed, but he's definitely just got enough. Or apparently not, as he gets a huge slide on the exit the corner. I mean, if he opens the door for me, I'm going to take it. And here he goes, back down the inside again. I mean, that car, I know it's bad, I know it's a handful, but it can't be that bad, surely, when you've got that much of a straight line speed advantage over us. Hakkinen back through, Schumacher only 4 seconds behind, so, yeah, our kind of undercut strategy might not work as well as I'd hoped. You know, if we can beat the likes of Coulthard or Johnny Herbert, then I guess we can't complain. Oh, there we go. Jacques Villeneuve then finally into the pit lane here. I was starting to get slightly concerned that maybe I'd missed something and that our top runners had also pit and gone out way ahead. I mean, Villeneuve's only going to be out, what, 4 seconds behind us. So, yeah, De La Rosa back up into the lead then of this Grand Prix. I can't work out who's in P2. Is it Alex Wurz? It's got to be Alex Wurz, surely. I mean, I know this car's strengths lie in other areas, but just look at the way Michael Schumacher's going to romp up to the back of me here. I mean, he's taken, what, 3-4 tenths out of me before we've even made it down in towards Seton Corner. Luckily, he hasn't quite got any downforce advantage unless I do that. But, I mean, yeah, at the moment, it's a pretty futile exercise trying to keep the German behind us. Don't think he's going to win today, though. I think his teammate Pedro De La Rosa's got that pretty locked up, which is not good for me, as finally Herbert into the pit lane as well. So De La Rosa, yeah, I think he's going to be... Well, I think he's already up into the lead of the Grand Prix, isn't he? Who's the other car then in the pits? That's what I want to know. It is Alex Wurz, so I was correct there. So we might very temporarily be up into the podium places before Schumacher gets past me. There we go, up into P3. And immediately back out of it again. Oh, Schumacher's in. What? Why? Why is Michael Schumacher pitting again? Eh? Wait, so De La Rosa hasn't... Well, obviously he pit really early on. Schumacher has now pit twice since his teammate pit.
2.6 seconds.
I mean, I know, for example, yeah, Herbert and Villeneuve surely are going to the end. But could we see others end up on a two-stop strategy for some reason? I think Michael Schumacher has been well and truly screwed over in that. Yeah, De La Rosa's in. And so's Hakkinen. What on earth is going on here? I mean, what's our tyre wear looking like? We're at 6% wear. The hard compound tyres on this game don't wear. So suddenly, out of nowhere, we are going to be up into the lead then of this Grand Prix. Admittedly, you know, we're going to lose it again to Jacques Villeneuve pretty quickly, but have Williams pulled off a blinder here? And out of nowhere, could we actually be on for a podium? Could De La Rosa get back to me by the end? I think he will. He's only 10 seconds behind. But we have only got 10 laps to go. Well, I think we've got to try and get the elbows out a little bit then with Jacques Villeneuve here as he makes his way past us down the Mistral Straight. I've got to be very, very careful with fuel usage before the end of this one. But, yeah, suddenly now it's your top 3 in the championship, your top 3 in the race order. A win here could be absolutely pivotal. But I am nervous about that fuel. As here we go, Villeneuve again. Trying to look around my outside. We'll try and just save a little bit of fuel through the twistier bits. This race has been absolutely unpredictable. Oh, again, Jacques Villeneuve having a look down the inside that time round. Yeah, I think he very much firmly tells me it's his race lead and he's having it. So Jacques Villeneuve Could he become our first three-time winner of the season? Could we try and stick with him and potentially drag us along towards the end of the afternoon? I mean, De La Rosa's still only 7 seconds back. Coulthard now, new fastest lap of the day. So, I mean, look at that running order. It is so unpredictable, so different to what we got in qualifying. But I absolutely love it. Yeah, De La Rosa's hungry. I think De La Rosa is still likely going to win this race.
Faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
I mean, Villeneuve's obviously pulled out a fair chunk of time on that lap, but yeah, De La Rosa's going nearly 2 seconds a lap faster. But I tell you what then, with 5 laps to go of this Grand Prix, I don't think De La Rosa's going to get to Villeneuve by the end of this. He's definitely still going to get past me, as we have found a way to kind of fuel save towards the end of this one. But Jacques Villeneuve and Williams, they might have completely shocked Ferrari here with that one-stop strategy. I mean, we've made it work as well, even more aggressively. But yeah, I mean, we've got a little bit of lap traffic still that we've got to try and get by before the end. Could that change things up at all? There we go. Thank you, Nick Heidfeld. First car that back to lap today does get out of the way pretty easily. Maybe he can hold up De La Rosa just a little bit as well. I mean, I'm watching that gap to the Ferrari. It is going to be agonizingly close, but I think he does simply have too much pace against us towards the end of the afternoon. But that being said, if he can get held up just a little bit here and there, could make a world of difference still before the checkered flag. 3 laps to go. I mean, he's still quicker than Jacques Villeneuve, but it's just not by enough at this stage of the race. Right, come on then, JB. Please jump out of the way as well, sir. Make it easy for me. That's not making it easy for me. Jensen, what is that? Jensen Button just refuses ever to move out of the way for us, and that has really held us up. Luckily, he's done the same to De La Rosa behind.
So we've been looking at the damage, and we think you should be okay to continue. It'll cost us a little bit of time, but we're nearly at the end of the race.
I wasn't aware we made contact with Jensen there, but apparently we must have done, so tiny bit of front wing damage now as De La Rosa right on my gearbox. We're going to try and use the rich revs, but I mean, you look at the gap. I don't think it's going to do a lot before the end of this race. I've been studying the pace against Wirtz and Herbert. We should be pretty safe ahead of them, but yeah, goodbye Pedro De La Rosa. Not ever convinced we could do a lot there. Maybe, just maybe, that Ferrari saved a little bit more there, but 5 seconds in 2 laps out of Jacques Villeneuve. Not going to hold my breath towards the end of this one. However, if you told me after Saturday that we'd be still in for a fight for a trophy today, I probably wouldn't have believed you. And as we make our way then onto the last lap of the French Grand Prix, I mean, so far this year, the wins have been pretty split evenly between myself, De La Rosa, and Jacques Villeneuve. But I think Villeneuve, yeah, looks like he's going to be the first driver
2.8 seconds.
to make it 3 wins of the year so far. But like I said, if you told me we could have been in for a podium fight today, I probably wouldn't have believed you. These are exactly the results we need around some of the tracks where we are going to really, really struggle over the course of the season there. This should have been an easy Ferrari win, but Williams today have played a blinder with the strategy, and Ferrari, well, once again, have been well and truly bamboozled. It would appear inside this series. Admittedly, P2 for De La Rosa is still not bad going, but the one-stop strategy is working so much better, and Ferrari just seem reluctant to try them still inside this game. Jacques Villeneuve, though, when we battled with him in Shanghai, I certainly didn't expect him to be a world title threat. Otherwise, I might have fought him just a little bit harder towards the end of that GP. But it is going to be the Canadian who gets win number 3 of the year. Williams are going to extend their world title lead as well, with Wirtz beating our teammate in Johnny Herbert there. The gap at the top of the title, I think, is going to be even closer than we came into this weekend. Jacques Villeneuve back on top. De La Rosa fastest lap. We get a podium.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. What do you think it was, Hans, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Well, it always helps when I don't go and accidentally skip right through the final race results. But there we are then. Jacques Villeneuve back to the top of the World Championship there. And Pedro De La Rosa and I just 4 points behind him, tied in P2. Wirtz, of course, bagging that P4 finish ahead of Schumacher and Johnny Herbert as well. Means you're top 4 in the championship with your top 4 in that race order as well there. Yeah, with Herbert still beating out Hakkinen in the end. I thought McLaren would be stronger here. No idea what happened to Coulthard, but he really struggled towards the end of the GP as well there. But yeah, Jacques, after the disappointment all the way back in Albert Park, Australia, De La Rosa and I have scored points in every single race so far. The first driver to get 3 wins on the year, and I mean, apart from that, a worse result of P5. I mean, yeah, De La Rosa's finished 9th at Zandvoort. We came 8th in Canada, so I guess it's pretty even between your top 3 so far this season. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 heads to the Austrian Grand Prix.